Here we are seeing something a little bit different. What? A Union Pacific train operating on the Black Hills and Eastern Railroad? What's that? Well, guys, this is a little bit of whatever I had to do to make that CNW yard happen. I never really set out to be a CNW modeler, and here's a Union Pacific train bringing some mixed freight down from the Twin Cities area, Mankato, to the Sioux City yard, the CNW yard in Sioux City. Everybody knows that CNW was acquired by Union Pacific in, what was that, 1995-ish? And anyway, so we're going to play this as it was CNW here with a transfer over to the BN yard. So we see the road crew pulling up, and they're going to cut off the engines from the train, and then our switch engine will get to work.
Black Hills and Eastern, when the plane comes to Empire, is already there.
Conductor gets down and pulls the pin. And then the engines pull away so the switch engine can get to work. That is a Kato AC4000 and a Kato SE40-2 that I've got there. I've had both of those engines for a very long time. As I said, I never set out to be a CNW modeler. Conductor gets down and bends the iron, and the engines come back to the main yard. And then the switch engine gets to work. As I was saying, I never set out to be a CNW modeler, and I never really set out to be a UP modeler either, but I wanted to sort of replicate the things that I was seeing going on in my sort of infrequent trips from the Sioux Falls area up to the Twin Cities, and so that the Worthington subs and the Worthington subdivision and the Mankato subdivision, what I've seen, that little bit of action there that I saw infrequently, kind of neat to me. And so I thought I would try and replicate what I was seeing there at that time. So we just see the switch crew shoving that cut of cars back and making the joint here. The first, we're just making up a transfer for the Burlington Northern yard, and we're going to make a cut right here. And here we see the CNW switcher. That's that GP50. That's that Athens Genesis GP50 that I got the train show in 2024 that I onboarded in a previous episode. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And we see that long cut of cars bound for the BN yard, also in Sioux City, behind that GP50. A couple of empty bulkhead flats. That first one there is an Atlas car, and the second one is a Walthers car. And you might remember that I got those Walthers clamshell loads going, and that details and scale lumber load going. I've yet to test to see whether either of those work on that Atlas car. I suspect the Walthers loads will not work on the Atlas car. I've yet to test the details and scale lumber load on that car. It's buried in storage totes now, so I won't probably have a chance to do that for several months again. A couple of corn syrup cars. A big plastic pellet car, and an empty flat. And here we see the CNW transfer led by that GP50 arrive in the BN yard. And what will happen here is that's just over on the AD track. The engine cuts off, and we'll go back over to the CNW yard. We're going to run through on one of those arrival departure tracks in Sioux City on the BN yard. And here we see on the north end of the BN yard in Sioux City that GP50 coming at us along the forward. That's the train that it just brought over. So again, this is the 12th episode in a series of operating session videos that I posted here on the channel, and I've got a playlist that I'll also link to in the description below. So here's the BN crew getting started on building their transfer job back over to the CNW yard, and similarly they'll make the transfer and then they'll come back light power. Meanwhile, the CNW crew over in the CNW yard is making up their train for an outbound train back north again, which we'll see later in this episode. And here comes that CNW transfer, that Terra Chemicals, note that's a Sioux City, Iowa car, and a couple of auto racks, and some other miscellaneous freight. That CMHX gone in the middle there is a stretch build by a MMR buddy of mine who now lives in Illinois. The temp lock, BNFE number 3 boxcar was custom painted by myself here a few years ago. Now we see the BN engines working their way through the CNW yard with that transfer. Similarly to the other movements we've seen, they'll cut off the train from their power, and the power will move back light to the BN yard in Sioux City. We've got to make sure they're clear on the switch on the other end. So then we see the road power getting back on that train. Again, an AC4400 and a HO scale SD40-2 from Kato. Both those two engines. That AC4400 was kind of a rabbit hole purchase for me. I've had that for 15 or 20 years, believe it or not. And I thought that flag detail on the long head was really neat. So that was kind of why I bought it. I mean, those are super common now, but at the time they were just kind of new. And anyway, here we see the BN crew cut off from the train, and they will, like I said, go around light power. The crews maybe exchange words or wisdom for the day before they move on about their daily business. So the road power is going to get situated. Again, that's a Kato SD40-2 and a AC4400. I've had that AC4400 for, well, I've had both these engines for a very long time, but that AC4400 probably longer than that. SD40-2 actually had silver trucks. I don't remember what color the fuel tank was, but I painted that and added that "We will deliver" slogan on the long hood there. And I'm not sure if these paint schemes would ever lock couplers together or not. So we are bending the space-time continuum just a little bit here with Union Pacific owning the CNW and working alongside BN. I believe by 95, the UP had purchased CNW and BN had merged into Santa Fe to form BNSF. So this is kind of a little bit of a fib, but what Verse Stewart says, this is reality model railroading. So, and rule number 1 definitely applies here. It's my railroad, so it is what it is. So we see that road freight here pulling out of the Sioux City yard bound for Parks North, Mankato, and the Twin Cities. And we'll send them along and wish them a safe trip. Here's where we're going to pull the pin on this particular episode. Subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.